Hey everyone, this is dqtattoos back at you with another video. For this week we're going to go into part 3 of our series on how to become a tattoo apprentice. If you have missed parts 1 and 2, I will post them up here for you to click on. Part 1 was how to set up your portfolio of artwork to take, and part 2 is how to find the shops you want to pursue an apprenticeship at and how to build your relationship with those shops, etc., etc. Now we're going to talk about what to actually expect when you get your apprenticeship. So this is just going to be kind of a generalized explanation for apprenticeships, because there's really not any one particular way to do it. There's not like a curriculum like you'd find at a university or something for a major that you pick. This is more or less however the mentor decides to guide you to become a tattoo artist. So yeah, generic discussion. First off, you're going to be, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term shop bitch. You're going to expect to be that for a few months to a year, if not longer. I guess it just depends on your own progress and your own dedication as an apprentice. But with that being said, as you know, an apprentice, you're going to be expected to do a lot of the work that the tattoo artists in that shop don't really want to do. You're going to be expected to do a lot of the cleaning around the shop. You're going to be expected to help set up and break down stations, and you're going to be doing a whole lot of tracing, most likely. In a lot of tattoo shops, you're going to find a huge selection of tattoo flash on the walls, and this is for like a typical street shop. You know, a custom shop would be a little bit different, and you're most likely not going to be apprenticed at a street shop, or sorry, at a custom shop, but rather a street shop, because those are the ones where you start out more often than not. So you know, for instance, Jordan that I work with, his apprenticeship, they had a bunch of flash on the walls, and one of his tasks was to trace every design on every sheet of flash that was hanging up. And once he finished tracing them all, he was told to do it again. And he had to do this several times. So that is completely normal. That is just to get you into the habit of tracing tattoo designs. It's going to build up some technical skill as far as making sure that your lines are straight when they need to be and just solid and clean. That also helps the shop to have line work on hand. You know, if anyone ever asks for a flash tattoo, you've already got the line work drawn up. So that's something that will help the shop in the long run. In addition to the cleaning and the tracing and all that, you may expect some hazing of some sorts. It's not uncommon for shops to haze the tattoo apprentices. I've heard of one shop where they would take, while the apprentice was in the bathroom, they would toss firecrackers under the door to the bathroom to scare the shit out of them, almost literally, while they're in there. You know, so stuff like that. I mean, it's all fun and games. They're not likely to ask you to do anything that's going to cause you any physical harm. Just be wary of that. It is kind of a rite of passage for your apprenticeship. So, aside from all the cleaning and the pranks, expect to have about a year's time before you actually pick up a tattoo machine. This is kind of the way that you earn your education. By putting in that year, they know that they're going to weed out anybody that is not ready for the apprenticeship. If you're not willing to put in the time to earn it, then why should they be willing to put in their time to teach you this craft that usually the knowledge is very hard to come by. Now with YouTube and everything out nowadays, it's getting easier and easier to find information on tattooing, but nothing beats first-hand experience from somebody that's been in the industry for a while. So look at the YouTube videos all you want, read the books all you want, but it's never going to be quite as good as somebody actually teaching you one-on-one, like a real apprenticeship. Next thing is, you know, and this maybe should have been one of the first things, expect to have a job other than your apprenticeship, because more likely than not, you are not going to get paid at all as a tattoo apprentice. Expect it to kind of be like college. Basically, you're paying to go to college to learn what you need to learn to prepare you for the career that happens afterwards. So, as an apprentice, you are paying for it by doing all the cleaning and the stuff around the shop, and then when you finally start to learn, that's when you may start to make a little bit of money. Don't expect to make the full rate when you first start either. When I started as a tattoo apprentice, I was only making 40% of every tattoo that I did, and then after you have been doing that for a while, they may put you up to 50%. Some shops may do more than that, some may not do a percentage at all, some may do booth rate. That is again something that is different for every particular shop. But expect that unless you're living at home with your mom and dad, you don't have a lot of bills, that you're going to need to have some sort of income to pay your rent and your groceries and all that stuff while you're going through the apprenticeship phase. Let's see what else. Alongside, you know, all the training that you're going to get from your mentor and all the cleaning and all this stuff, you're going to be expected to be doing stuff outside of work too, to show that you're driven as an artist. So pick up other mediums, other forms of art. Start doing oil paintings or acrylics, or start working on you know, marker drawings, or you could even do digital, you know, something that is going to occupy some of your creativity while you're just doing the minor things, and ways that can add to tattooing as a whole. So pick up some good books that are going to teach you good lessons in art. I've got a couple with me right now, actually, that I like to show you. One of the first ones is called Color and Light. It's by James Gurney. It is a guide for the realist painter. And if you know James Gurney, he created Dinotopia. He has painted, obviously he painted this on the front cover, but this is going to go into a lot of awesome, you got color relationships here, color light interactions, different color combinations, mixing colors, strings. I don't know if you can see all that or not, but this is a really good book to have just for art in general. I like oil painting. I haven't done a whole lot of it recently because I haven't really had time, but that's something that's going to help me both in my artwork outside of tattooing and in tattooing as well. Next book I've got for you is Light and Shadow by Ian Robert McCown. Okay, and what's cool about this book is this is more geared towards black and gray. It's a monochromatic and value-based approaches in charcoal, oil, and ink. What's really cool about that book is Ian McCown is actually a tattoo artist, and a lot of the theories and information in his book he actually applies directly to his tattoos. If you follow him on Instagram or anything, you can tell that it really does show, because he's got a painterly feel to his tattoos, a softness in them that is just unreal. So if you haven't seen any of his work, definitely go check it out on Instagram. It is definitely worth your time. In addition to getting books and reference materials, another thing that you're going to want to spend some money on is supplies. And I'm not talking tattoo supplies, you'll get to that whenever that time comes, but art supplies. One thing that was very helpful for me in my apprenticeship was to buy a set of Prismacolor pencils. They are great for practicing your flash drawings, your color relationships, and all that. They're not too terribly expensive, but they're going to be a lot higher quality than like a Crayola color pencil or something like that. Another thing you do is get some graphites or charcoal set. I've got this Prismacolor graphite set that I bought, and I've also got some charcoals in this little tin as well. This really helped me out here recently when I wanted to start getting more into doing black and gray realism. Some have said that if you can't draw it, you're not likely going to be able to tattoo it. So I practiced my charcoal drawings by doing a portrait of Stephen King, which I later then tattooed on a buddy of mine, and actually just finished it last week. It's still healing, but yeah. Just practicing that on paper made me a lot more confident to do it on skin, and confidence is really going to help you a lot when it comes to tattooing. So practice something before you tattoo it. It's going to help you a lot. Next is wait until you're told to actually start buying tattoo equipment, because your mentor may have something specific in mind for you. This was something I did not do. I pretty much just bought what I thought was going to be good for me, and rather my mentor actually had wanted me to buy like a cheap tattoo kit, kind of the likes of what you would find on eBay or something like that, and they basically wanted me to experience a cheap crappy kit so that it would break down on me while I was tattooing, and to see how I would deal with that. Rather, I bought some decent machines, so I never had any of them break down on me while I was tattooing. But you know, that's a lesson I could have learned, and it probably would have helped me a little bit more. But instead, I actually did have to learn how to take machines apart, put them back together, make sure they ran fine. You know, I didn't learn any of the intricacies of tuning a machine until later on. But that is something that you're going to be dealing with too, is not only learning the art aspect of it, but the technical aspects of it. The machines, you may even learn how to solder your own needles. If you're lucky, you'll learn how to do that, because that's a dying part of this trade. Not too many people do that anymore. Thankfully, I learned how to do it, I think like a year or two ago, when my boss brought in the supplies that he's had for years on how to do it, and showed me some tips and tricks, you know, and it's pretty cool. It's something you should definitely learn to do. But you know, if they don't teach you that, then find a way to learn on your own. It'd be really helpful. Another thing is, most shops are not going to have you using rotary tattoo machines at first. They're probably going to want you to learn to use coil machines so that you can rebuild them, and you learn the ins and outs of that before you move on to rotaries. It really does help a lot. So in summary, yeah, just expect to be doing a lot of cleaning work when you first get into the shop. Expect it to take a while before you actually pick up a tattoo machine and start tattooing with it. If you're lucky, you will learn how to solder your own needles. Well, not a lot of places do that anymore. I was lucky enough to learn that from my current boss. You are going to be expected to be able to tear down a tattoo machine and rebuild it, hopefully. Again, because not all apprenticeships are the same, but I think that would be a good thing for anyone to learn. Yeah, just put your head down, put the work in, take some time, you know, make sure to have a second job on the side, or even a main job if tattooing your apprenticeship is going to be your second job, I guess. And you're going to need to have that other job to pay all your bills, to buy you supplies for tattooing, and all that. Buy good art materials, art supplies to use to practice things. Buy decent books, and don't get in too much of a hurry. Okay, more often than not, you are going to be learning and practicing on paper for about a year or so before you even start tattooing on people. So take that time, become a sponge, soak it all up. Do not get into a hurry. Because once you're out there, once you're a tattoo artist, that knowledge, that learning is going to be a lot harder to come by, because at that point you are competition for every other tattoo artist, and not everyone's going to be so willing to hand you information that you don't already have, because at that point they're giving up some sort of an advantage that they might have. You know, and they really have had to work for it too. So I mean, none of this comes easy to anybody. Most likely. I mean, some people may be extremely talented artists, but tattooing is a whole different game. Okay, so I think that about sums it up for this video. I just want to take the time to thank everybody who tunes in and watches my videos each week. I just hit 304 subscribers, I think, a few minutes ago, so I'm super happy about that. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. If you know of anybody that would benefit from watching this video, please share it with them. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I post a new video every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and next week I'll probably be doing a painting video or maybe some tattoo history. So you know, thanks again for tuning in. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you've got one of those. At dqtattoos is my Instagram. I'll put that on the screen for you. And I think that about does it for this week. So tune in next week for a new video, and we'll see you then. Have a good night. Bye. Your apprenticeship, if a contract is involved. That was Oliver knocking my shit down, so we're going to start over. Take the time.
Do this in your video.
Yeah.
Why not?
Bubes. I should probably, I'm trying to get right up here.
That's not my problem. Did you clean the floor in here?
Yeah.
Looks good.
Alright, can you take a picture of me, please? And get it in focus?